welcome back to another video. Today we're going to go over a few of the essential supplies that you need to have when you are a beginner and just discovering this wonderful hobby of adult coloring. I made a video like this one in the past, and some of my ideas or tips may have changed just a little bit because that video was done over a year ago now. And it's been very, very popular on my channel, but I just wanted to kind of redo that video. If you are somebody who just discovered this wonderful hobby of adult coloring and you just stumbled upon my channel and you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, let me know in the comments if that is you. Because in this video, I am going to try to create some kind of, what do I want to call it? Maybe coloring piece to where you have just the essential things that you need to be able to start. A lot of you are watching all of these videos maybe on my channel or other colorist channel, or you're in my Facebook group and you see everybody sharing all of their supplies and their coloring books and all of these things. And I know it makes it very easy to feel like we need all of those things. But when you're just starting out and you just are discovering this hobby, you want to make sure that you are going to stick to it and that you really enjoy doing it. Some of us start this hobby and we color for a few months and then we kind of just hit some sort of burnout and then we come back to it later. But you don't want all of those supplies just all laying around not getting used. You want a place to start. And so that's what we're going to talk about in this video. I'm going to share a few different things in this video, and these things are only going to be the essential things that make it easy for you to just pick some things up and start coloring without feeling overwhelmed. I'm going to share each one of the essential things that you need to get started, and then I'm going to share different options from each category, and then it's up to you to choose one from each one of those categories. If you check the description box down below, you will find links down there for everything that I share in this video. I will also have links down there for my Etsy shop where you could get lots of swatch charts that will help you to be able to swatch your colored pencils when you do get them or decide which ones you want to purchase. I also have links down there for my email list, my Facebook group, and my Patreon if you would like to support me there. So the first thing that you're going to need to be able to color, of course, is a coloring book. So we are going to cover the coloring books first, and I'm going to show you a bunch of different coloring books, and I'm going to share different ideas with you and why I would choose those particular coloring books for a beginner or someone just starting. And hopefully after I share some of my ideas and why I would choose that coloring book, hopefully you can decide which one would be best for you. This book here is by Jade Summer, and I'm not going to do complete flip throughs of these books because that's not the point of this video. I'll do a quick flip through each one so you can see some of the pages and get an idea of the images that are inside the book. So this is Color by Number, Flowers by Jade Summer. The Color by Number books are going to be great for a beginner because it takes all of the frustration out of having to choose colors. If you're someone who does not like to choose colors and you just want to grab your colored pencils or whatever medium you plan on using and you want to sit down and color something, these books are fantastic. Let's go ahead and just turn to one of the images inside the book. This particular Jade Summer book is going to be one-sided. I believe all the Jade Summer books are, but this particular book is going to have the colors that correspond with the numbers for each page or the page that is next to it. But you could see that these pages are fairly easy and there is a number in each one of the spaces. You would just use this page over here to match it up to your colored pencils. And if you wanted to start out with some kind of blending, you could even do it in some areas on the image. Here where it says orange red, you could even grab an orange colored pencil and a red colored pencil and practice first by blending just those two colors together. So dark yellow here is number 4. And so you can even in these spaces here where you have the 4s, you can take that dark yellow and you can use a brown to create your shadows. So you could use a lighter shade of brown and then maybe a darker shade of yellow and create a really nice blend anywhere that it has the number 4. But this is one fantastic option, and I'll just flip through it just a little bit. so you could see some of the images in this book. And this book is available on Amazon for only $7.99. You can use markers in this book if you want to, maybe Crayola Super Tips or a set of Ohuhu markers, but this is a really great book for beginners. Here's another one. This one is color by number as well, and it's going to be the same idea, but this one is going to be beautiful patterns. This is also by Jade Summer, and it is also $7.99 on Amazon, but every single page is just going to be patterns. And I'll just flip through so you could see a couple more of the pages. But I have a few different ideas to share with you as far as books, and then I'm going to share the colored pencils that I suggest or the other mediums that I suggest. And this video is not to get you overwhelmed at all. The whole purpose of this video is just to share a few different things with you. I have a whole lot of people watching these videos, and so one coloring book may appeal to one person and another coloring book may appeal to another person. And I know a lot of you still consider yourselves beginners, even if you're not just discovering this hobby. Somebody that is just discovering this hobby may want to go with something like a color by number, or you may be a little bit more of an advanced beginner and you may want to start with something else. So that's why I'm sharing so many different books, and I suggest you choose the one that you feel would be best for you to start with. This one is called Easy Coloring Book, and so this is a really great book also for beginners, and I will flip through this one and just show you. This one here is going to have a little bit of grayscale on the images, and this would help you just a little bit because you can put your colors together, and if you were just choosing 3 colors to lay down on one of the images, you can use the grayscale to help you to understand where to lay your darkest colors, your midtones, and your lightest colors. For instance, this one here, you could see that it's got the darker grayscale right up here, and then it's got some lighter grayscale down in here, and then of course all in these areas here, you would place your highlights. And a lot of people are intimidated when they see any kind of grayscale, and grayscale is wonderful for beginners. It really, really is, because it's basically a guide telling you exactly where to lay your colors, and it takes all the guesswork out of it. But a lot of the images in here, this one is just adorable, and this looks like a pretty quick color just to sit down and get it done, and you could see all the grayscale on here in the different tones of gray. But the images in this book are all fairly easy, as the title says. Here's some leaves. If you wanted to practice coloring some leaves, they look like autumn leaves, so you could get out some oranges and some reds and some browns and just lay your color down, and you've got a really great guide. So that is Easy Coloring Book by Jade Summer. So another fairly easy set of books would be these miniature books by Camelia Angelkova. And these are really wonderful for somebody who is just starting out, or even somebody who is not just starting out. And I'll show you how cutesy the images in this book are, and they would make for a really quick color. I don't know about y'all, but I look at the images in this book, and this book makes me want to take out my crayons. How many of you feel that way? Like, it really just makes me want to grab my crayons and color a page. But all of the images are very, very cutesy. Like the title suggests, so everything is just going to be miniature throughout the entire book. And it's really, really cute. But this one is going to be all ocean images, and here are some of the images that are in the book. And the best thing about these books from this particular artist is all of these books on Amazon are only $4.99. Here's another one. I wanted to show this one since we're getting into springtime now, and so I wanted to be able to just flip through this one and show you. It's sort of the same idea, but the difference is going to be that you are going to have 50 spring miniatures. Look how adorable they are. And this one has lots of flowers in it. And I'm going to explain why flowers is one of the best things that you could learn on when I get to one of the next books that I want to show you. But look at these adorable images. Aren't they just the cutest thing? Lots of flowers in this book, of course, because it is the springtime book, so we've got lots of spring images, little chicks, so cute, birds. But that is another adorable book and a fantastic choice for a beginner. So the next set of books I want to share with you are the Rita Berman books. And there's a reason why I'm sharing these, and I'm going to explain. So these books are much smaller than your typical coloring book, meaning you're going to have a much smaller image to color on each one of the pages. I'll put the other book that I just showed you here right next to it so you could see the difference. Let me go ahead and lay it on top. But look how much smaller these books are than a regular coloring book that you would purchase on Amazon. I know many of us are familiar with the size of these books. I believe these are 8.5 by 11 books. And these are much, much smaller. You could see all the room that you have up here. I do have a smaller ruler here so we can see how big this book is, but 6, maybe 7 inches. So I think this book is 7 by 7. And so it's a rather tiny book. It would also be great to take out with you if you were being mobile with your coloring. Okay, so this is the first one that I pulled that I wanted to share with you. And I'm going to flip through here and I'm going to show you why. Not just is it a smaller book, but the other reason I think it's fantastic is because you have pages like this. So books like this that have pages with just little different individual images on them throughout the book, they are great choices for a beginner because you don't have to get overwhelmed. You can just sit down, you can color one image on the page and do one at a time. When all the colors start running into one another and you start to feel a little bit overwhelmed, get up, take a break, come back and color another one. Aside from that, the images are adorable. And the other great thing about this book is this is a double page spread. You could allow it to be very overwhelming, but you could just forget about the fact that it's a double page spread because this side of the page can be colored without the other side of the page. And you could always come back and color the other side of the page when you wanted to. You could treat it as a double page spread or not treat it as a double page spread. And here is another page that is wonderful because it's got a bunch of just individual images on it that you could just sit and color and then take a break and come back to. Here's a page that would be a rather quick color. It's just a mandala with some fish on it. This page would be another great page because you can color all this area here. If you wanted to just sit and color or tackle one flower at a time, you could surely do that. It is, again, a double page spread on a much smaller book. You could treat it as one image and then come back and color the other one later on. If you wanted to practice some different things for backgrounds, you have this very small section right here. Now, when it comes to backgrounds and you're a beginner, I suggest that you just sit down and color first and not worry so much about backgrounds. And I'm not really going to have any background suggestions in this video because I feel like that causes a little bit of overwhelm. If you're interested in backgrounds and you want to see the different things I suggest for backgrounds, I will link a recent video I did where I show you all of the ways that I like to do backgrounds on coloring pages. But my suggestion would be to really not worry about that in the beginning. Just stick to finding coloring books that will take away the overwhelm. Color one image at a time, take a break, and come back to it later. Here's another one that would be a really quick color. And it's absolutely adorable, this ice cream cone here. And when you're ready to tackle backgrounds, and you feel like you have learned a few colored pencil techniques, or if you're using alcohol markers, you've learned some blending techniques with those. Whatever medium you decide to use, get very familiar with that medium first before you decide to move on and pick up something else, because I feel like that's what causes a lot of the overwhelm for a lot of people that are just discovering this hobby. Here is Rita Berman's newer book. And I'll just flip through that one really quickly. But this one is the same idea as the other one. You're going to have some pages that have smaller images. You're going to have some double page spreads that could be treated as double page spreads or not. Here's one of those pages that I would suggest for a beginner where you can come and color just this square, or come over here and color just this small little house. And you've got very little spaces here on this house, so you can really practice just picking 3 colors and putting your colors together. Or if you just want to sit down and you want to just straight color with with one color, just sit down and straight color with one color and don't even try blending your colored pencils together. Just enjoy them and relax. But let me just flip through here really quick. See how there's some pages here that are just really quick colors. And because it is a 7x7 book, the image is even smaller than what you would find in the much bigger books. Oh, this page is beautiful. Look at that. That's really gorgeous. So that is Rita Berman's newest book, and I will have all of these linked in the description box below. So this book here is Romantic Country by Erie, and this follows along with the same idea where I suggest finding a book that you can color that just has some images in it or some pages in it where you can color one item on the page. So here's one of those pages. It actually does make it a little bit easier for beginners because the line art is a little bit lighter. And so when you come in and you color with your colored pencils, the line art in these books is much easier to cover up. So when you've finished coloring the square here, it really makes the image look like it is really popping. And so if you, for instance, took this image and did this frame right here, and you colored in the frame and just straight colored, and then came in and colored these little flowers here with a contrasting color from what you colored in the background or the frame here, those little flowers would really pop. And all you need to do is straight color. And it would be really quick if you were just straight coloring and figuring out what colors were contrasting from one another. And I'm going to show you a little bit further in the video how to do that the easy way. If you were to do that, it would take away all of that overwhelm. And there are a few other pages in here like that if I can remember. But you also have pages like this with lots of flowers on them. And I'm going to explain when I get to the next book why it is so important when you're a beginner to learn by coloring flowers. Here's another one of those pages where you can just pick a stamp and color it, learn to put some colors together or just straight color. Get up, come back, take a breather, and finish the page later. And then later on, when you feel like you're ready to tackle backgrounds, you can always come back and fill the background in. But I really love this book, and it's so fun, and I just love the gray line art. Now, my original book, I have a lot colored in the original book, and I've used it a whole lot in my series where I share lots of tips and tricks and coloring hacks and all of that. And so this is a newer copy of the book. Here's another page where you could color just one image on the page until it all just comes together. So now I have Johanna Basford's World of Flowers. Those of you that have been watching my channel for quite some time, you know this is my absolute favorite book. If I do a tutorial on flowers, which I have an entire playlist, and I'll link that in the upper right hand corner for you. But if I ever do a tutorial on flowers, it most likely is from this book. So as I flip through this book, you may see some pages where I've used as testers. I'm testing out different pencils on the paper to see how they work in this book, because I do have specific pencils that I like and enjoy most in this book. But the one specific thing I want to show you in this book is it's the same idea as the Rita Berman books, where you just have very little individual items on the pages. You don't have to sit down and tackle a whole entire page at one time. You just need to sit down, look at the page, and say, okay, I want to color this right here. So grab your pencils and color this. Color the little jar, the little flowers inside. Pick your contrasting colors so that the flowers stand out from whatever color you decide to color the jar. And you could just straight color. You don't even have to blend your colored pencils together. And you can use the entire page as a tester page if you wanted to. This one was a color along that I did on my channel. That's another thing. You can follow a color along until you're more comfortable to color on your own. There's also so many tutorials on my channel. It's always really great to pick up some ideas from one colorist or other ideas from another colorist as you watch through the different tutorials on YouTube that are available to you, and take some of those ideas and sort of put them into what you do, and then also add some of your own ideas and create your own coloring style. This was another tutorial I did. These were tutorials as well. If you're looking for a video on how to color flowers, I'm going to link the video where I colored this flower up in the upper right hand corner. This has been a very popular video. One of the best things that you can learn to color when you are first learning to color are flowers. Everything that you learn when you're learning how to color a flower, you can apply to an entire coloring page. Even when you move on to coloring something like a portrait, all of the ideas that I share with you in my tutorials on how to color a flower, where you've got one petal overlapping the other, you can apply that to a portrait. You could apply that to a landscape image. You could apply that to a fantasy page. You could apply it to any other object on any other coloring page, or the coloring page as a whole, because you've got all of these petals that are laying one over the other. And when I do my tutorials, I show you where to lay the darkest shades and the lighter shades, where to come in with your highlight colors and your midtones and all of that. And then this one is much like the Rita Berman books, where you have the individual items on each page. There are quite a few pages like that. There's a page in this book where it is all just flowers, and you could color just one flower at a time. This one I really enjoyed coloring the bugs, and I colored them with different sets of pencils just to test out the pencils on the paper. I believe this one was the Spearfarben, this one is Polychromos, and this one is the Pablo pencils. And this was another color along. And here is another really great page where you could test out your pencils. You can see that I've done that in quite a few of these. I think here I was testing out the pastel tints to see if I can create enough depth and dimension just by using pastels. This one was a tutorial with the Black Widow pencils. But there are several pages in here where you can just color one individual item so that it is much less overwhelming. The next couple book choices I have are by Deborah Muller, and the reason I'm sharing these is because most of you that have been following me for a very long time or watching my videos for quite some time, you know that Deborah Muller is where I started when I was a beginner. So my suggestion would be for you to start with something like flowers, because coloring flowers is going to show you exactly how to color anything else at all just by applying a few of the steps that I've shared in my tutorials. And I will make sure that I link one of my most popular tutorials up in the right hand corner so that you can go check that out. But this book here, this is Fairy Wedding, and I think this book is absolutely beautiful. And there are lots of flowers in here, but when you are ready to move on to coloring something like skin, or want to practice coloring something like skin, these books are fantastic. You still have all your flowers. All of the artwork is very whimsy-like and fantasy. We've got lots of fairies in this book. She has lots of books with fairies. Her little animals are absolutely adorable, and they're very easy to color without having to focus too much on, okay, I have to make the fur look perfect, because you don't. You just need to sit down and color it. And that's how you are going to learn to create with your colored pencils. But when you want to learn or move on and color hair and portraits, a lot of these images, you're going to have a very small amount of skin to tackle. It's not like you are moving forward and moving on to a book that has a full portrait image on it where you have a whole lot of skin to color and you really have to focus on where to lay your colors. You can just sit down and even just straight color the skin if you wanted to. But after the entire page is finished, it's all going to come together and it's going to look absolutely beautiful. And on a lot of these images, you can even come in here and just decide that you want to even just color one image or practice something with just one image on the page. Like say I wanted to color a butterfly. She's got tons of butterflies in a lot of her books. Here she has a duck. So if you wanted to just sit and color the duck, you could sit and color just the duck and the girl and practice laying your color down on an animal as well as the girl and her clothing and her hair. But there's a lot of adorable images in here. Here we have a really goofy looking frog. And her artwork is just really fun. It really brings me a feeling of joy when I'm coloring these pages. And when I was a beginner and I was coloring in her books, I didn't feel like I had to focus as much on choosing colors because there is so much on a page that I would just grab colors and just color. And you could see by looking at just the front cover of this beautiful book that there are so many different colors in this image. So you could just pick and choose colors, just throw your colors at it and finish a page. And then this is another really fun one, and this is Fairy Fashion Show. This is a spring edition coloring book, but these are what the images look like in this one, and this one is just fun. And it's kind of all different fashion girls dressed all different ways, and you're still going to have flowers. You're still going to be able to practice coloring skin and coloring hair, but there's no overwhelm to this book, because all it is just one girl that you're coloring, and they're just so simple and easy. And here I started one. This was one that I was going to do. I either used my Ohuhu markers or my Cali Art markers, I don't remember, but I started this one, and this is one that I was going to color with markers and come back over and lay my colored pencils on top. So I just have one base layer of color on the skin, and see, it still looks really good. I didn't do anything else to it but use my markers and lay one base layer on her skin. And yeah, I think it is my Ohuhus, because I have their little thing back here that comes with their set of markers. But when you are coloring in these books with markers, make sure that you do lay something behind the page so that it doesn't go through. But you can surely use markers in these books. But this book has so many different cute little images, and it's also a great choice for someone who wants to move on to starting to color some hair and practice coloring skin. And then you've got the adorable little outfits on the girls, but that's another really great one. And this is another book that I would suggest for beginners, because this one is actually a grayscale coloring book. This is In Love by Rachel Mintz, and this is a fantastic book and has the most adorable images. I actually have a color along on my channel where I colored one of the images in Rachel Mintz's friendship book. I looked all over for my friendship book. It's my absolute favorite book by Rachel Mintz. I can't find it anywhere, but this one has images in it that are just as adorable as in that book. But it's got some of the cutest things. And like I said earlier, some beginners may feel intimidated by grayscale, but grayscale is the easiest thing to color. And if you wanted to choose markers as your medium, you could just come right over and color this with one base color, and it automatically changes the shade of your alcohol markers and does all the work for you. If you are using colored pencils and you want to experiment with your colored pencils and learn how to do your shading and create your shadows and your highlights, you just follow the grayscale. Over here on his ear, you would just use your darkest color here, your mid-tones here, and your lightest color there. And it is that easy. But the images in here are the cutest ever. If you are purchasing Rachel Mintz PDFs, I do have a code for 33% off. You can get these books on Amazon, and I believe they are fairly cheap. But if you wanted to go even cheaper and you had your own paper to print on, I would suggest using my link down in the description box and going to their website. And I have a code that will give you 33% off any PDF you would like to purchase by Rachel Mintz. But I really recommend these books. The In Love, The Innocence, and the Friendship book are the ones that I would suggest, because these are so quick to color. They are just simple, quick colors, and it's so easy and shows you exactly where to lay your colors. And this is the last coloring book that I have to share with you, but I wanted to share this one for those of you that would like to use markers as your coloring medium. Now, with these books, you can use colored pencils in them and you can use markers. But these Color It books, this is Color It Mandala Volume 2. The paper in these books is going to be much thicker, and it's a smoother paper, and alcohol markers work much better with a smoother paper. So if you want to use alcohol markers, these books are wonderful. This book is going to be filled with mandalas. This page would be beautiful to use with alcohol markers because of all the black background. So if you're someone who wants to use alcohol markers, gel pens, or things like that, this book is fantastic. My suggestion would be decide whether you want to start with colored pencils, gel pens, or alcohol markers, and what you want to start with first. So one of the color it books would be best with gel pens or alcohol markers if you are going to decide to go with one of those mediums rather than colored pencils. These books are all available for $19.99. They are going to be a little bit more expensive, but it is the quality that you're paying for with the paper, and all of the pages are perforated at the top and you get the spiral binding. So the next thing I want to talk about is choosing your colors. If you are a little bit of a more advanced beginner, you want to have sort of an idea of how to lay your colors down onto the page. Well, this is my absolute favorite color wheel. This is the one I use all the time and love. But this particular color wheel is going to explain color theory very easily for you to understand it. Over here on the side, it's going to explain to you what warm colors, cool colors are, as well as a hue, a tint, a tone, and a shade. This is a very easy color wheel to use. So in the beginning of the video where I was talking about picking your contrasting colors, all you would do is pick some complementary colors. So if you were using oranges on your coloring page and you wanted something contrasting from that, you would know to go straight down to this side and choose blue. And it makes it that easy. So a color wheel is really, really important to have. The next thing we're going to talk about is colored pencils. I'm going to share 4 different suggestions with you in this video for colored pencils. Now the idea is for you to just choose one that you want to start with. I'm also going to share with you the alcohol markers that I use. And if you think you're someone that would prefer starting with alcohol markers, I would suggest that you either go with one of the color it books with the smoother paper, or if you are using one of the Amazon books that I showed you, I would suggest always putting something behind your pages before you use any kind of markers, whether it be water-based markers like a Crayola Super Tip or any brand of alcohol markers. For colored pencils, I'm going to share 4 different choices, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on each one, and then it is up to you to just choose one of those. So this set here is my Crayolas. This is the Colors of the World skin colors. And then over here, I have the full 120 set of Crayolas. And I really love my Crayolas. They're a really great choice for beginners, especially if you're just getting started. This is the box that they come in, and you could get these pencils right around $22 or so on Amazon. Sometimes they do fall lower than that, but they're usually right between $22 and I think $25. But I love this set so much, and the reason I love this set is because it's got some really unique colors in it. All of these colors that you see over here in the yellow, like this one and this one, these are some bright, beautiful, vibrant yellows. You've got some bright, beautiful, vibrant pinks. You have a neon orange. I believe this one is also a very bright color, and this one as well. And my absolute favorite color in this set is this atomic tangerine. This color is the most amazing color in the entire set. I absolutely love it. I did a Crayola tutorial and colored a butterfly using this color as my highlight color, and it turned out absolutely beautiful. I'll link that in the upper right hand corner if I still have space. But there are some gorgeous colors in this set that you're not going to get in any other set, and I really love this set. Look at these beautiful, bright, vibrant greens you get. And then you also get a good selection of browns, you get a couple grays, and you get a black. So this is a really great set to start with, and if you wanted to add on the skin colors, these are added extra colors that you won't find within the 120 set. But that is my first suggestion. And of course, you are going to need a pencil case so that you can take your pencils out of the boxes that they come in. The 120 set of Crayolas specifically come in this what is just a paper box, and you can see mine is already very messed up. I kept it just because I needed it, just in case I need it for a video like right now. And that is really the only reason I keep it. But I've taken all mine out and I put them in this beautiful pencil case. And pencil cases are very, very important. These are the ones that I own and I love. They've got the one slot for each pencil. And I've also come to love the other pencil case that I have that has 3 slots where you could slide in anywhere from 1 to 3 colored pencils in each one of the slots. This is the other choice of pencil case that I have absolutely come to love. I have my luminance in here. Of course, we don't need luminance, but I just want to show you the actual pencil case. But you've got the bigger slots in here where you can fit anywhere from 1 to 3 pencils. You can see in some of them I've got 1, this one I have 2, and then I think a couple of them I actually have 3 in a slot. So this one you could see that you could fit 3 in a slot. And this is a rather bigger case. I think they come in smaller versions, but this is another great idea for a pencil case. So out of those pencil case choices, I would suggest that you just choose one, the one you feel like you liked the most or you would be happiest with. This here is my Brute Fooner Squares. This is also a fabulous set of pencils, and this one is also great for beginners. These are an oil-based pencil. Here is the swatch chart so you can get an idea of the colors that are in here. The colors in this set are also very unique. You will get a couple in here that are very much the same, but for the most part you get exactly what you need to be able to just sit down and color. And you could see that you do also get quite a few grays in this set. You even get a gold in here. And something I find very, very important in a lot of the sets, a lot of them are lacking on reds, and this one does give you a very good selection of shades of red. And the same goes for the set of Crayola pencils as well. And that brings me to the next thing that you will also be needing is some swatch charts. This chart here is available in my Facebook group, and so if you need a swatch chart and you want one for free, you can go to my Facebook group, go to the file section and print this one out. But this one here is front and back, and then I just put it in a little page protector and I put them in a binder. I also have these swatch charts available. This swatch chart here I actually created specifically for beginners. This one is for 72 colors, and what I did on this one, as requested by many in my Facebook group that were beginners, is when I swatch out my colors, if you look at this, you could see that I like to go light, medium, and then dark. For some beginners, that may be a little bit more difficult. At least that's what y'all expressed to me. So I made a chart here where I put division lines. This is available in my Etsy shop. I always have a link for my Etsy shop linked down below in the description box. I put these division lines here so that you could do the lighter value, the medium value, and then the darker value, so you know all the colors that come from each one of your colored pencils. And then that one always also comes where you could create your own gradient of color without the division lines. And then I have this one, and this one is for 120 colors. So this one would be great for the Brute Fooners or the Crayola set as well. And then I also have color combination charts. So one of the great things about the color combination charts is this one is the 3-blend color combination chart. You could find this in my Etsy store in a packet with lots of other color combination charts. But the great thing about these color combination charts is you can create your color combinations and then you could write down what they were. So when you're a beginner, it's a lot easier to keep all of these in a binder or set aside in a notebook of some sort or something, and then just pull them out when you're getting ready to color a coloring page and just say, okay, I want to use these 3 colors, and go to the set and just pick out those colors and get to coloring. But it makes it much easier for you to just get a head start on a coloring page without having to put any thought into it at all. But this Brute Fooner set does have some fantastic colors in it. As you saw on the swatch chart, this set is always available on Amazon, and they do run a lot of specials on this set. So this set of pencils you can pick up on Amazon for sometimes right around $24. It's usually always between $24 and $29 from what I've seen. So you can get a really good deal for 120 pencils, and these go down really well in the Amazon coloring books. So if you were someone who thinks that eventually you're going to want all the colors, which it's not required at all, and that's where these Black Widow pencils come in. These are a fantastic starter set of pencils because This is the first set that comes with the Black Widows, and you're only getting 24 colors in here. It makes it much less overwhelming when you just want to pick colors and get started without having 120 colors to choose from. These right here are a wonderful choice because you could start out with this 24 set of pencils. Right now on Amazon, you can grab these for $17.36. So it's a fantastic deal for the 24 pencils. These are wonderful pencils. If I had to rate these as far as comparing them to another pencil, for me, these are my second favorite right next to Prismacolors. So this is a fantastic place to start. And this is the pencil set that I moved to before I ever even had Prismacolors, and I fell in love with them. But it makes it very easy to start out with 24 pencils, and you're going to get all the colors in here that you need, which would be mostly all of your primary colors plus a couple extras. You still get a white. This Casper here looks gray on the tin, but that's just so they can make it show up. But that's actually a white pencil, and then you get a black and you get a gray. So you get all the colors you need just by purchasing this one set. And the great thing about the Black Widows is this is the second set that was ever created. So when you're ready to purchase another set, or you could afford it, or you're sure you're going to stick with this hobby, you can grab yourself the Scorpion set, and you're going to get more colors. So you get a couple shades of brown, you get a tan here, and you get a burgundy, a deep purple, you get a turquoise. So you get a really great addition just by adding another set. And this is the third set that was created by Black Widow. These are all the 3 original sets before they came out with anything else. There are other sets, and I'm not going to show them in this video because we're not trying to get overwhelmed. But if you wanted to, again, when you could afford it after you've gone from the first set to the second set, this would be the third set to go with, and these are the colors you're going to get in here. So this is a really great starter set, and you could purchase these first 3 in sets of 24 as you can afford them. And I would suggest going in this order, this one first, and then this one second, and the Cobra set for your third set. And after you have the first 3 sets of 24 colors, you have quite a bit of colors to choose from. And then you can add on from there if you want to, but the full entire set contains 180 colors in all. And when you get to that point, I have a video where I put them all into color family order, so you can check out that video and follow it and get all your pencils in color family order. And my last suggestion would be to just buy a very small set of Prismacolors. Now remember, I encourage you to choose just one. These are more of an artist grade pencil. They're very, very soft. For some beginners, they may be a little bit frustrating because these really don't allow you to have a heavy hand when you're coloring. You really do need to go a little bit lighter because they have a very soft core. The Crayolas are going to be much harder. The Black Widows are going to be harder, not as hard as the Crayolas, and the Brute Fooners are going to be right there somewhere in between these Prismacolors and the Black Widows. They may be a little bit closer as far as hardness to the Black Widow pencils, but the Black Widow pencils are wax-based and the Brute Fooners are marketed as oil-based. This was my first set of Prismacolors, and it's one of the smaller sets. It's either the 48 set or the 36 set. I really cannot remember. I think there's actually some colors missing out of here, or there may have been some colors I added into here from other sets. But when I started coloring and I wanted Prismacolors, I just bought the 36 set because it was so much cheaper than buying the big 150 set. And there are plenty of colors in the 36 set to just be able to put some colors together and create something beautiful on your coloring pages. This is one of the wrap cases. These are very convenient and they are wonderful for the smaller sets of pencils. So if you just want to start with a smaller set of pencils, the smaller set of Prismacolors, either the 36 set or the 48 set, those are a great place to start. The 48 set is going to run you right around $46 on Amazon, and the 36 set is going to run you right around $35 on Amazon. Now, I don't know if maybe you could find them cheaper somewhere like in a Walmart or Target or something like that. I know I just had to buy my son a 24 set of Prismacolors, and I got those for like right around $20. So you could also go with those and just get yourself the 24 set and still have plenty of colors to create a beautiful coloring page. I know my son is using them for an art class, and that is what his teacher requested. She even requested him just have the 12 set, but I am me and I couldn't send him to art class with just 12 colors. So I got him the 24. So another essential that you're going to need is erasers. So this is the eraser that I always recommend because it helps you to get into very small areas. And if you go out of the lines, it's got this tiny little tip on it, and it will really help you to pull the color up off the page. It works really, really well. It does come with refills so that you could just refill it when the eraser is gone. And then I have this other one that I have found to work really, really well and really takes up a lot of the color. If you've watched my videos, you've seen me use this in several different videos. And this is only like $1 something, maybe right around $2 on Amazon. And then this one here is probably no more than $6. But I will link all of that down in the description box below so that you can easily find it. So if you think you're someone that wants to start with alcohol markers rather than colored pencils, or you're looking for a really great set of alcohol markers, these are my Cali Art markers. These are the markers that I started with. I've had these markers for 3 years now, and they work just as good today as they did the day that I bought them. They are wonderful. These have the chisel nib on one end and the fine tip on the other end. And sometimes working with the chisel nib is much easier for beginners rather than trying to get used to the brush markers. I find that I tend to even grab these sometimes before I grab my big, huge Ohuhu set, because having 100 colors is a lot less overwhelming than having 216 like I have, plus another 24 set of skin colors. With this set, you're getting all of the colors that you need. It's a lot less overwhelming. You have the different tips on them that are not the brush tip that may be a little bit easier to get used to. Right now on Amazon, these are only $33.99, but I think that may be a lightning deal. I'm not sure how much they will be when I finish editing and posting this video, but right now they are $33.99 with 10% off, and that is a steal for 100 markers. But if you think you want to start with alcohol markers, this is a fantastic set. Now, I know there's some of you out there that are going to want to start your coloring journey with gel pens. These are the gel pens that I know and love, that I always suggest to everybody. These are the Color It gel pens. They come in 2 different sets, and they both come with their cases. This is the glitter set, and then this is the original set. There are some glitter pens in this one as well, and I think some neon colors you get in this one, along with some others. And then this one is just going to be a full glitter set, and they come with refills and everything else. So you're getting refills, you're getting the cases, and they are not that expensive. So the price has dropped drastically actually on these. They used to be almost $50 for both sets, and I believe that Color It did not have them available to purchase in a bundle like this for quite some time, but now they're back on Amazon, and for both of these sets with all of the refills and everything else, you can get these for $35.99. I will have the link down in the description box below, but these are the best gel pens. I love these. I've been using them for years. Okay, so now we are at the section of the video where I'm going to discuss pencil sharpeners. A pencil sharpener is very important right along with your erasers. If you are going the colored pencil route, you want to make sure that you have a really good sharpener. There are differences between these 2 sharpeners. These are the 2 that I know and love, and I will never be without. This is the Doll 133. If you've been watching my videos for a very long time, you know I absolutely love this pencil sharpener, but it does have a turn crank. So you would just pull this out like this, put your pencil in, and then you turn it and it stops. It auto stops when the pencil is sharpened. It does have a little lever back here to adjust how you want the tip of your pencil to be, if you want it sharper or you want it more blunt. And you can choose exactly how you want your pencil to be just by turning the knob. And then I discovered the jar link, and I never ever thought that I would be using an electric pencil sharpener, but I have come to love this pencil sharpener. So many of you in my Facebook group are buying this pencil sharpener. Y'all love it so much. If you go to my Facebook group and just search jar link, you will see all the people now that rave about this pencil sharpener. But for those of you that have issues with your hands and you can't use a pencil sharpener like this where you have to crank the lever, this is a great alternative. You're going to put your pencil in here and it's going to stop when it's supposed to. So let me just show you how cool this pencil sharpener is, because not only will it stop where it's supposed to if you leave it on the number 3, but it also takes square pencils and any other pencil I've tried in here, I'm able to get them in here. It does take anywhere from 6mm to 12mm pencils, so it is absolutely wonderful. But look, my square pencil goes right in there, and it stopped when it's done, right when it was supposed to, and that's the beautiful sharp lead I got from that pencil sharpener. And of course, we all know the doll will do the same thing, but this is going to be much easier on your hands, and so it's a great choice for an electric pencil sharpener. But both of these I still always use, and they're both amazing. So I hope you all thought this video was helpful, and I hope that it helped to take away some of the overwhelm. If you just look through the video and do it in steps and look through the first part of the video where I shared the coloring books, I want to encourage you to just choose one that you felt would fit your needs the best, and that you could see some of the images and they just brought you some joy and it was something you wanted to color. Just pick 1 or 2 of the coloring books. And then when you get to the section for the colored pencils, just choose whichever colored pencil set you think is going to work best for you to start. And then when you get a little bit further into your journey with this wonderful hobby of adult coloring, you can add on as you go. You could especially do that with the Black Widows. They're a great choice of pencil to be able to do that with, and you could purchase the first set of Black Widows, which is only 24 pencils, and you are going to be much less overwhelmed. And if you were to purchase that set, you don't even really need a pencil case, because you could just leave the tin off to the side while you're coloring your coloring page, and then add on later and grab a colored pencil case when you need one. And then I gave you 2 different choices of pencil sharpeners. I would just choose one. And then of course I showed you my pick for gel pens. I do have other gel pens, but I tend to always pull out my Color It gel pens, and I love that they already come with the case. You don't need to go out and purchase an extra case. I purchased one set on Amazon that I did review, the Tamnet set, and I have had to take all of those out of their case because the case was rather cheap, and throw them all into a box. So when I use those, I tend to just pull them out of the box and determine what colors I need and have to swatch them out to see and make sure that I have the right color. So I always end up going right to my Color It's. And then as far as markers, I have a full set of 216 and then some, because I have the Skin Colors too of the Ohuhu brush markers. But I find that these are much easier if you're just starting. You only are getting 100. It's a much better deal. You're not spending a lot of money. And so if you're looking to save money and you just want to get the essentials, this is where you start. And then as far as erasers, I would really honestly recommend both of the erasers, the mono eraser and the Fractise eraser, because you're going to need an eraser to get into the much larger areas to erase, and then you'll also need the much smaller eraser that you can use to get into the much smaller areas. So I hope this video was really helpful. Everything you've seen in the video I will have linked down in the description box below, and I will see you in the next video. Happy coloring. Bye.